Nominations for the 67th Grammy Awards were announced recently, and it has brought both familiar and new Indian and Indian origin names to the forefront. Ricky Kej, a three-time Grammy winner, is one of them who has earned a nomination in the Best New Age, Ambient or Chant Album category for his album Break of Dawn. He's here with us, joining us live from Mumbai on India Today. Ricky, congratulations for your fourth Grammy nominations.
No, thank you so much. Very kind of you. Very excited about it.
I won't ask you whether you anticipated this nomination or not, since you already have 3 Grammys under your name. But what I really want to know from you is that there are 5 Indians who have been nominated along with you this time at the Grammys. You think India has finally arrived? How do you see these nominations in terms of putting Indian artists and musicians on the global map?
No, of course, it's very nice that a lot of Indian origin musicians have been nominated this year. Even last year, it was the same. Last year, we had Shakti nominated. We had Rakesh Chaurasia ji nominated. So I feel that when it comes to traditional and Indian classical music forms, I think Western audiences and global audiences have been appreciating Indian music for a while right now. And it's just coming to the forefront.
Ricky, you won your first Grammy in 2015 for Winds of Sansara. Second Grammy was in 2022 for Divine Tides. And third Grammy came in 2023. You have already won 3 Grammys. Have you had any encounter with any pop icon from the US all these years that you've been working for? And if yes, what was that like?
No, of course, I've had some really good interactions with musicians and, as you said, pop icons who have admired my entire life. In fact, when I won my first Grammy in 2015, I remember winning the Grammy Award and going up on the stage, collecting the trophy, and then going backstage. And as soon as I went backstage, I met Hans Zimmer, the great film composer. And I've been a huge, huge fan of his. So it was quite a surreal moment to go to him, shake hands with him, and also take a selfie with him and talk to him for a few moments. So that was quite a starstruck moment for me. And then I also got to collaborate with my childhood legend, Stuart Copeland, said to be the greatest drummer in the history of music, founder drummer of the band, The Police. I got to collaborate with him on Divine Tides, which won me my second and my third Grammy. And then now we've just finished off our 4th album together. So it's been a really, really good journey, and I'm very grateful for it.
Ricky, if you could tell us, what exactly were you doing when you got the news that you've been nominated for the 4th time this time?
So actually, I was at a dinner with a few friends. So we were having this dinner and we were just about to sit on the table to eat. And after a beautiful conversation that we had, and then suddenly I saw that my phone kept ringing and my phone kept buzzing. And then I picked up the phone and I saw that, oh, I've been nominated for a Grammy. So I quickly made a few phone calls to make sure that the news was actually valid and it was true. And then I had to unfortunately leave that dinner and go back home to answer phone calls and to thank all of the people who are part of the album and my team, and to to acknowledge all of their contributions. So that's why I had to cut that dinner short and leave and go home and do all of that. But of course, I was absolutely thrilled nevertheless.
But since you've already won 3 awards before, Ricky, I want to also ask you, on the scale of 1 to 10, how confident are you're going to bring the 4th one also home?
I cannot say about confidence, but obviously I would love to win for the 4th time, simply because this album, Break of Dawn, I believe is a culmination of all of my musical knowledge, whatever I've learned as a human being, all of the issues that I make music about, because all of my music is about the environment or it's about various social causes. So all of that knowledge that I've accumulated over the last, 25 years of my career, all of that has been put into this album, and I really believe it's my best work, and that's why I'm quite hopeful. That's all that I can say. I'm very hopeful.
And if you could also give our viewers a sense of what exactly this album is about, what was the process of making this video,
So this album, Break of Dawn, it's about, it's 9 songs. And as you may know, I've always been an environmentalist my whole life, a musician and an environmentalist. And so that has always been at the forefront of every single life decision I've made and every single piece of music that I make. And then a few years ago, I heard this beautiful ancient Indian phrase which says that all the imbalances of the environment is a direct reflection of the imbalances of the mind. So in order to purify the environment, we first have to purify the mind. And then that is when I realized that in order to solve all of the problems of our planet, the one thing that we need to do is bring about a sense of mental wellness, and we need to clarify our minds. And then basically all of the problems that we face today will become problems of yesterday. So that is why I created Break of Dawn. I used Indian rooted wellness music, that is rags from ancient Indian rags. I chose 9 rags, and each of the 9 songs of Break of Dawn is based on a particular Indian classical rag. We used a lot of scientific expertise in figuring out what is the kind of music, what is the kind of sonic identity that is associated with bringing about calm in our mind, reducing stress in our lives, and bringing about a more meditative experience. And that is how Break of Dawn was actually created.
And if I may also ask you, Ricky, what is your usual creative process, when you make a music or compose a music? Do you have any routine or ritual that help you to get into that zone of composing? When creating a piece, do you start with a message or theme in mind, or do you just let the music guide you?
So yes, it's a mixture of everything that you just mentioned. But of course, there are 2 ways to create music. One way to create music is commission music, as they say, which is basically film music and advertising music, where a producer or a director comes to you and tells you that, or a brand comes to you and tells you that, okay, this is the kind of music that I want. So create music exactly like this. And then you're paid money to make that piece of music, and you create that music, which is based on the brief. The second kind of music is the kind of music that I do, which is, as you mentioned, that it starts off with a thought in my mind that I want to communicate to my audiences, and then it becomes an idea of how do we take that message through the beautiful and emotional language of music to my audiences, and then I create a piece of music on that. And of course, my music is usually about nature. It's usually about the environment. But I prefer not recording the sounds of nature and recording the sounds of the environment. I prefer interpreting those sounds through various instruments, especially Indian instruments like the human voice and the bansuri and the sitar, the veena, the tabla. So I take all of these ideas of nature and I try to interpret those sounds, like the sounds of the bird through a flute, and the sounds of the stream of
Wow.
water through a percussion instrument, or the sounds of animals through various other instruments, interpreting it through a sitar or interpreting it through a veena. So that's how I love composing my music.
And if there is an advice you would like to give young musicians who want to use their talent to the best of their ability, especially in a way that creates more awareness?
No, definitely. I believe that musicians, especially young musicians in India, there is this very strong, misinformation that in order to gain global recognition, if that is what you crave for, global recognition, then you have to perform songs in English, and you have to create Western forms of music like Western hip hop and Western pop music. But I believe that that's not true at all, because all of the people who have actually won Grammy Awards in the past, or won any kind of international recognition in the past, who have broken cultural barriers, have been Indian classical musicians or traditional folk musicians from India. So my suggestion to younger talent out there is that think about what is it that you feel strongly about, because pretty much every song that comes out of India nowadays is either a love song or an item song. So there are so many things that we need to celebrate in India. There are so many things that there's so many issues that we need to talk about in India or create awareness about. So I would say dig deep into your own roots, figure out what is it that makes you uniquely Indian or uniquely yourself. Think about what is it that you want to convey to your audiences. What do you want to celebrate about India? Create music about that. And I'm 100% sure that if the music is good, they will gain global recognition.
Ricky, since you've also mentioned about celebrating what you exactly want in life, I would like to ask you, if you win this fourth Grammy, how do you wish to celebrate this victory, if at all?
Actually, I'm not thinking about celebration. In fact, even the past 3 Grammy Awards, I did not actually have any kind of a celebration. But I guess I would love the only kind of celebrations that I've had is with the people who work with me, because creating music is no longer an isolated, job where just one person creating the music. There's a whole team of musicians, of artists, of engineers, of producers that have to work together on a piece of music, and marketing teams and the record label. So I guess, and in this particular album, Break of Dawn, the record label Vedam Records has played a very important role in helping me put this out in the world. So I would like to create, I'd like to celebrate. If I'm going to celebrate, I'd like to celebrate with all of these wonderful people who have helped me out in my journey.
Absolutely. On that note, thank you so much for talking to us. Here's hoping you bring home another Grammy. Wish you all the best.
Very, very kind of you. Thank you.